Hello friends. Hi, I'm Swati from Basingstoke, UK. I have been practicing Anapanasati meditation for the last 5 years. Since then, I have had a string of beautiful learning and experiences. I have realized what I need is taken care by the cosmos when I enrich others' lives with meditation. I have been spreading and teaching meditation in UK for the past 2 years. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you the world-renowned pyramid researcher, Dr. Sam. Dr. Sam is the one who discovered the Bosnian Pyramids, the first pyramids in Europe located near the town of Visoko, Bosnia. He authored dozens of books on ancient civilization, including Mayan, Peruvian, Mexican, and Pacific civilizations. His bestsellers include Mayan Cosmic Mission and Ancient History from Beyond the Veil. Dr. Sam is now running the most active archaeological site in the world, the Bosnian Valley of Pyramids, consisting of the 5 oldest and largest pyramids in the world. He is also the principal investigator in this project, which yielded some of the pioneering electromagnetic measurements in these pyramids. He has researched pyramids from various dimensions, including energy, science, and its healing aspects. Without further ado, let me focus the spotlight on to Dr. Sam and let us lend an ear to his life changing experiences and discoveries. Dr. Sam, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, sir.
Yes, namaste. Very good to see you. 5 years ago, I was invited to the conference in Singapore. I arrived a little bit sooner than everybody else. I was sitting alone in the conference hall in the first row. And then mature gentleman approached me. He sat by me. He had a beautiful white robe and a white bird. And he put his hand on my knee. So I was expecting him to introduce himself, to greet me. Instead, he told me in his first sentence, "You can't be spiritual if you eat meat." That was his introduction. That was his greeting. That was his message. And that was his life mission. He is founder of the Pyramid Spiritual Science Movement. And thanks to him, in the last 3 decades, he has become the builder and inspiration of the biggest number of the modern pyramids in the world. Brahmarshi Patriji is behind hundreds, big ones, and thousands of smaller pyramids. With the one motto, pyramid power, to be used to enhance our spiritual ability, to meditate, so we can affect our daily life in a very positive way. I've been researching pyramids for decades as well. And we share the same goals and the same mission. We are, in a way, obsessed by the pyramids, trying to unlock the pyramid powers so we can rise the global consciousness. During my road to resolving the mysteries of the pyramids, I realized that almost everything they teach us about the pyramids is wrong. They are telling us they are built in Egypt and Mexico. Instead, they have been built on all continents. In China, 250 ancient pyramids. 20, the biggest, the most superior, are the oldest. In Indonesia, beautiful Gunung Padang 26,000 years old pyramid. In Cambodia, amazing Koch-Ker pyramid. They assigned it to the 10th and 11th century. It's much older. Even in Australia, island of Mauritius, in Egypt, but not only the three most famous pyramids at the Giza Plateau, but 155. Then in Sudan, 224 Nubian pyramids. On Canary Islands, 104. More than 300 in Peru, pyramids in Bolivia, pyramids in Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize, Mexico, United States, Alaska, even in Europe. Pyramids in Spain, 3 Palencia pyramids in Italy, Greece, and finally Bosnia. 15 years ago, I first came to the central Bosnian town of Visoko to visit the local museum. And then I saw this, everybody called it natural hill. However, it had 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners. And I took compass and it showed me that the sides perfectly points to the cardinal points, east, west, north, and south. I'm sure majority of you, the viewers, have seen pictures of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. In the last 15 years, like it was said in introduction, it has become the most active archaeological project in the world. Every year, hundreds of volunteers, dozens of experts from different fields are coming to Bosnia. And we have redefined the research process in archaeology. Instead of 1 archaeologist, 10 diggers, and very limited view of the project, we know in order to explain the pyramids, we need to assign many other scientific disciplines. So in our case, archaeologists, geologists, Egyptologists, paleontologists, but also high-tech disciplines, geophysical, geothermal, satellite, but also experts in energy phenomena, physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers, telecommunication engineers, but also the medical aspects, the medical doctors, and finally, spiritual scientists, people who can feel the energies, people who meditate, people who can have this pyramid power help them to achieve the higher realms. We have shown that the research of the pyramids is actually the most exciting research in the world of archaeology. In the last 15 years, we've realized that pyramid power goes on different levels. First, in order to build pyramids, you have to apply certain criteria. For our planet, 4-sided pyramid is the strongest. Then, orientation to cardinal points is extremely important. We know that the Great Pyramid of Egypt, or Cheops, or Khufu, as they call it, has perfect alignment with the cardinal points, east, west, north, south. But if you talk to Egyptologists or independent researchers, they are not able to explain why is this so critical. They cannot because they don't have an engineering mind. If they do, they would know that everything is energy. Our planet is a huge energy ball. People like Nikola Tesla, but also many other scientists before and especially today, they realize that our planet as energy ball has movement of the energy, and two strongest movements are north-south and east-west. So when you build four-sided pyramid and you perfectly aligned it to cardinal points, it initiates the movement of the energy within the pyramid. The next important element is sacred geometry. The elements of sacred geometry are number pi, 3.14, number phi, or golden section, 1.618, equilateral triangle, hexagon, and so on. If we take, for example, the Giza pyramids, Cheops, Khafre, Mykerinos, we see that those triangular faces are perfect equilateral triangles. When you take the measurements of the length at the base, it's 231 meters. Two lengths, 462, divided by height, almost 147 meters. The result is 3.14, the number pi. The next element, golden section. When you take the sphinx and then you make the spiral, all three pyramids are laying on the line of the golden section. So we can clearly see that in the case of Egypt, we have elements of sacred geometry. In the case of Bosnian pyramids, when you take three major pyramids, the sun, the moon, dragon, and you connect their tops with the lines from the sun pyramid to the moon, 2,180 meters. From moon to dragon, 2,180. From dragon back to the moon, to the sun, 2,180. So we have equilateral triangle. And then when we take the tops of the sun pyramid and the love pyramid, we have 5 of them in Bosnia: sun, moon, dragon, earth, and love. So we can see that those tops of the hills, of the pyramid hill, they are laying on the spiral, on the golden section line, meaning that the major elements of sacred geometry were applied in Bosnia as well. And then the next element, the flower of life, or the seed of life, all those circles, which is a cosmic formula for the life, they are applied in Bosnia as well. So the ancients were smart. They knew when you apply the elements of sacred geometry, they are going to amplify the energies. And this is the key word for the pyramids. In order to amplify the energy, you have to find an energy spot. I was very happy and very exciting when I visited Patrigi, and when I realized that in Bangalore, the Valley of the Pyramids in Bangalore, they were sitting on the place of very ancient location. The ancients were smart. They were always placing their villages and their sacred monuments above the energy potent places. The same thing goes for the pyramids. For example, in Bosnia, Mexico, Tibet, Egypt, Peru, they were placing pyramids above energetically potent places. Below the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, we have an iron plate. Iron generates electromagnetic field. The pyramid amplifies it. Second form of the energy, 21 meters below the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, we have the water flow. Water moves, it releases negative ions. The pyramid amplifies the concentration of negative ions. 55 meters below the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, another water flow. Between two water flows, we have charge, electricity. The pyramid amplifies it. And then, during our excavation, when we were removing the layers of soil above the Bosnian pyramids, exposing the concrete blocks, we discovered a lot of quartz crystal. In the tunnels under the Bosnian pyramids, we discovered a lot of quartz crystal. And we know in engineering that quartz crystal has the ability to transform the energy. So if electromagnetic field that we can measure, and if you can measure, then you scientifically prove it. So when electromagnetic field hits the quartz crystal, through the piezoelectrical effect, it transforms the energy to the ultrasound. We cannot hear ultrasound, we hear sound from 10 Hertz to 20 kilohertz. But we can measure the ultrasound using our scientific instruments. And we have measured the frequency of 28 kilohertz. In science, this is very important frequency. People call it the levitation frequency. People feel light in the presence of this frequency. Then we measured another form of the energy. We call it life energy. 80 years ago, American scientist, medical doctor William Reich, has discovered that there is an invisible form of the energy all around us. He named it orgone energy or life energy. In Eastern traditions, it is known as prana or chi. Well, he even discovered an instrument to measure this type of the energy. Even though he was abandoned from the scientific establishment because he was threatening them with the new knowledge, today we have companies in the US who continued producing those instruments. We have one of them in Bosnia. It is called Experimental Life Energy Meter. What it measures? It measures ability of humans, plants, other living organisms, even the atmosphere and surrounding area, natural places, to receive electromagnetic field. The more you can receive, your life energy is higher. So this instrument works on a scale from 0% to 100%. 100 being the highest ability, the highest level of life energy. So if our contaminated cities are at 25% of life energy, then our villages and towns in the nature are about 50%. And inside the pyramids, it is about 100%, telling us that pyramid also creates, it generates, it amplifies the life energy. As early as 2007, at the beginning of our research, we hosted our very good friend, unfortunately late, Dr. Harry Oldfield from the United Kingdom. He has become famous because of several instruments that he developed. And one of the instruments was the one which we were able to use to film energy fields above the pyramids. And we realized that those fields above the sun pyramids are always vertical, and above the cities, villages, rivers, valleys, always horizontal. Why? Because this energy that's generating inside the pyramid is going through the top of the pyramid, hitting those horizontal, and it becomes vertical. So in the last 15 years, we have basically concluded that pyramids are huge energy machines. Now, they don't produce energy like we have today in our homes, 220 volts, 50 hertz. They amplify the subtle, soft energy of our planet. When located above existing natural energy sources, this energy power is bigger. And now imagine, the oldest pyramids were built long before 12,000 years back. In Bosnia, 34,000 years ago. In Indonesia, 29,000 years ago. In other countries like Egypt, Peru, Mexico, the first pyramids all built more than 12,000 years back. At that time, before the end of the last ice age, our planet, our mother planet, was much stronger than today. So the energy sources were stronger. So when the pyramid would amplify them, then pyramids were very strong energy machines. Today, unfortunately, due to our technology, but also huge changes that our planet experienced 12,000 years back, it has become much weaker. For example, the ozone layer then was 5 times thicker. Now, with our technology, it becomes weaker and weaker. We know about the holes in ozone layer, so a lot of harmful cosmic radiations are coming our way. And guess what? The pyramid power is such that those energy beams coming through the top of the pyramid have ability to repair even ozone layer. In the last 15 years, we have been experimenting. So it's not the archaeology only. It's not even the scientific interdisciplinary approach, but it's about the energy, it's about the spirituality, it is about the healing aspect. You know, when we started clearing the tunnels below the pyramids, huge prehistorical network of tunnels, our goal then in 2005, 2006 was to get to the pyramid as soon as possible. But then we realized when people get inside those tunnels that they breathe excellent. Actually, deeper they go, they breathe better and better. It is not very logical if you go 200 or 300 meters below the ground that you breathe so well. But nothing in Bosnia is logical, even this situation with the tunnels. Today, we have discovered 6 entrances to the underground tunnels. The most famous, of course, the Ravne tunnels, where we have over 2 kilometers of clear tunnels. But we discovered more, Ravne 2, Ravne 3, Ravne 4, healing tunnels, KTK tunnels, proving that under the Visoko Valley, under the Bosnian Valley of the pyramids, we have huge network of tunnels. And not only in one level. The first level is a labyrinth. We discovered entrance to the second level tunnels. And most probably it is between 3 and the 6 levels of underground tunnels. This is the work that will last for generations. People often ask me, well, you probably won't be around when you get to the pyramid, when you clear everything. Well, I said, it is not destination the science is about. It is about the journey. And we do enjoy the journey by discovering and unlocking the secrets that ancients left us. They might not have computers and laptops and cell phones, but they had profound knowledge about our planet, about the energies of our planet. When we come to the spiritual aspect of this project, You know, we've been living in former Yugoslavia, Eastern Europe, then it was Western Europe. For most people in Europe and America, when you say spiritual, they put equal religious or religions. Spirituality, for me, has nothing to do with the religious. Spirituality is about developing our spiritual senses so we can have a better view of the life within the physical and spiritual world. What is the physical world? We learned about the known and visible world through our 5 physical senses. We can see, we can hear, we can sense, we can touch, and so on. But our senses are very limited. What we can hear, 10 hertz to 20 kilohertz. We can't hear 25 kilohertz. For example, me and Patrigi, we don't even hear 20 kilohertz. We hear maybe 18 or 15. And when our wives talk to us, we don't hear them at all. So we hear only up to 20 kilohertz. We don't hear 50 kilohertz, 100 kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz. So we hear only this tiny, tiny area of the sound. The same goes for our eyesight. We see very little out of huge range above and below. But through our spiritual senses, we could learn about the world much more. How do you develop your spiritual senses? Well, the meditation is an important way to do that. When you go deep within, then you can realize everything. You can get all the answers that you need. You can work on yourself. You can work on your healing aspect, on your business aspect, on your family, emotional, love, spiritual, all other aspects. So the pyramids are there to help us to get a better knowledge about visible and invisible world. It can help us to go back to the balance. When it comes to the healing aspect, it's becoming a key question for so many people. We can see the world that we live in is having so many wrong terms. Technology, urbanization, stress all around us, the corporate world. People fear so many things and they are getting brainwashed. They give their own powers to the religion, to the corporate world, to the political powers. Instead, we need to tend to live as free beings. What will make us free? Imagine, instead of having limits in this physical world and fears all around us, imagine when you go deep within during the meditation, you have no limits. You have no bosses. Nobody can instill fear in you. Nobody can produce stress on you. It changes everything. Pyramids help for meditation, but pyramid also helps with the healing aspect in our physical world. How do we know that? So many people have visited us in the last decade and a half, and we have heard so many wonderful testimonials from them. People come with the high sugar in the blood. It's becoming a major problem today. For example, the sugar level, as we know, from 3.6 to 6.2 is a normal level. From 6.2 to 10 is a higher, risky group. Above 10, diabetes. People come, for example, with the level of 10. That's a risky group. They spend 1 hour in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels. They get back, the level of sugar 5.7. It's a normal level. People come with a high blood pressure, 220 over 140. Very high blood pressure causing all kinds of headaches and so on. After 1 or 2 visits to the tunnels, it's getting back to the normal, 140 over 80, 120 over 70, and so on. People come with the pains. It helps with the pain. People come with some very serious diseases, and we have many testimonials, tumors, cancers, and some others. Now, what is really happening? Well, we are always looking for the scientific explanations. So it's combination of about 10 factors. I mentioned earlier harmful cosmic radiations. They are coming from above, and our body cells are fighting those radiations. In the tunnels, 40 meters below the ground, we don't have harmful cosmic radiations. Second one, we have natural radioactivity coming from the underground, hitting our body. So now our body cells have enemies from above, from below. Actually, they are busy 24 hours a day trying to preserve our body. In the tunnels, we use Geiger counter to regularly measure those values, no radioactivity. Number 3, geopathogenic radiations. People know that if you sleep above underground water flow, you're going to get sick. This energy is bad for us. But in the tunnels, we have a series of strategically laid out blocks. We call them K1, K2, K3, K5, and so on. And they neutralize the negative energy of these underground water flows. Someone was very smart in the past. They could feel the energies. The next one, the phones, the mobile phones, the cell phone. In Bosnia, we have 3G. In most of the Europe, 4G. In America, South Korea, Australia, 5G. Now, those frequencies from 2.4 gigahertz to 60 gigahertz, that's sucking out the oxygen from our body, to 90 gigahertz, very bad for us. And those waves are all around us. You go to the tunnels, we don't have these bad radiations, no signal. And finally, internet. Today, of course, without the internet, this Zoom conference would not be possible. But in order to have this online signal, the Wi-Fi, we have to have these bad frequencies. In the tunnels, no Wi-Fi signal. So nothing bad in the tunnels. But what we have more, we have something that's measurable, but good frequencies. The best electromagnetic frequency, the best ultrasound frequency, 28 kilohertz, the best very low frequency of 7.83 hertz. In science, it is called the Schumann resonance. We have an original frequency of the planet in the tunnels on the pyramids, but outside, not anymore. 10 hertz, 12 hertz, 15 hertz. And finally, number 10, high concentration of negative ions. Patrigi, Pradeep, and all other students of Patrigi, supporters of Patrigi, friends of Patrigi, who made this conference possible and who made these beautiful messages coming from heart of India to the world possible. They know that I've been saying as a mantra for years, negative ions, negative ions. Science has proven that the negative ions clear the atmosphere from dust, from pollen. They raise the level of oxygen in our body, and they kill the viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Now, the viruses, we have been witnessing in the last few months the biological war on humans, so-called pandemic of coronavirus. So, it is a virus. And the viruses, they all look like the same. They have the core, which is RNA, sometimes DNA, but mostly RNA, and we have the proteins sticking out. When you have a high concentration of negative and positive ions, they stick to the protein, sucking hydrogen with, and also what you have from OH, oxygen and hydrogen, with one additional atom of hydrogen from the proteins, you are getting H2O, which is the water or humidity. And we have very high humidity in the tunnels. So with the humidity here, virus without the protein, it dies. You cannot use it. As a matter of fact, the virus is almost dead anyway until it comes to human as a host. But without the proteins, it can't live no more. So we know that for years. In November of 2019, the British scientist, Professor John Sidney Oxford, November 2019, at the time when coronavirus started spreading, he did an experiment. He used at that time sharp ionizer, and in a cube, it was a space 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, he was releasing viruses and he was releasing negative and positive ions. 50,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter. 50,000 is a high concentration. In our offices, where we are right now, we have about 20 to 50 negative ions per cubic centimeter. If we go outside to the cities, 150. By the rivers, 500. Top of the mountains in the forests, 1,000. Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 20,000 to 60,000. So 50 times healthier than on the top of the mountains in the pine forests. So John Oxford, he was releasing about 50,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter to this cube. He noticed that instantly 99.97% of viruses were eliminated, were killed. Now, this is a scientific experiment. We have two more. University of Leeds in United Kingdom did a clinical study at the Royal Hospital in Leeds, at the clinic for infections. Why clinic of, for infections? Well, if you have some infection, you go to the hospital, they put you in the, infectious clinic, you go there, you lay 10, 15 days, it's a very high probability that you're gonna get sick with one or two more diseases, because you have more people sitting in the clinic or laying in the clinic with their own diseases, and those viruses or bacteria are spreading. Well, what they did, they placed ionizers that were generating negative ions in all clinics rooms. In 1 year, not a single additional infection happened. Why? Because those negative ions were killing viruses and bacteria momentarily. And the third research from the United States. In a library of National Institute of Health, it is recorded that clinical study was done. Researchers were checking how the virus was spreading from animal to animal and from animal to humans. They were following influenza virus. Corona is influenza virus. Their conclusion, from animal to human, the negative ions would prevent 97% of occurrence, and from animal to animal, 100%. This is the power of negative ions. And in the tunnels, we have 50 times bigger concentration than on the mountains, and we know it's very healthy on the mountains in the pine trees. So what we did last year, we built one pyramid in our most beautiful park, Rame 2. Patrigi and everybody else remember our park, Rame 2. It's a beautiful energy park, and the natural park, and recreational park, and children park, and spiritual park, and cultural and artistic park. Now it's becoming park of flowers. Well, in this park, 100,000 square meters, which the land I purchased from my savings from the US, from the swampy land, we transform it into a beautiful park. This is the place where Patrigi loves to go and do meditation for hundreds and hundreds of people. So we built the pyramid, and we assigned very specific criteria. 4 sides, perfect orientation. We brought geodesists to tell us exact east-west, north-south. While building the pyramids, in the foundation and the pyramid concrete wall, we placed 250 kilograms of quartz crystal that we discovered in the Rame tunnels. It brought the pyramid energy. And then, with having those metal nets in the concrete, we made sure that we made so-called Faraday cage. So the pyramid inside is completely protected from bad electromagnetism from outside. And then we applied formula 3, 6, 9. Some of you might know that one of the greatest, brilliant minds, Nikola Tesla, 120 years back, while doing experiments in Colorado Springs, and later on Wardenclyffe Tower in the state of New York, the guy who was born just 200 kilometers to the west from Bosnian Pyramids, that he said that formula 3, 6, 9 is the cosmic formula which can explain all the processes happening in the universe. 3, 6, 9. How did we apply that? Well, you have triangles, 3. Then inside the pyramid, we have supportive wall, 6 by 6 by 6 by 6 meters. And outside the sides, the length of the sides, 9 by 9 by 9, 3, 6, 9. And now, guess what? We always do measurements with about 15 different scientific instruments. We were measuring the concentration of negative ions in the park. It's very high. It's about 1,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter. 1,000, that's like the top of the mountain in the pine forest. But when we entered the pyramid, 12,000. 12 times higher. Shape of the pyramid, pyramid energy, quartz crystal, orientation. So the ancients knew such a wonderful knowledge. And today, in the 21st century, this knowledge is resurfacing. In Bosnia, in India, in Russia, Germany, US. These are all countries that's been building pyramids. Most of them, like I said, in India. Our good friend and supporter, Valery Uvarov from Russia, building pyramid complex in Tomsk in Siberia, which consists of 33 pyramids, and many individual pyramids in Germany and the US and some other countries. People realize, and people use this power for different things. Meditation, one of the most important, healing, and some others, but they all basically are coming to the same. They empower us, and they help us to remove the fear from our lives. They help us to go back to freedom. Those of you who visited our park, you know that entrance to the park is for free. It costs us a lot of money to establish, to run, to maintain, to clean, to add the new content. But it is for free. We built infrastructure, roads and parking lots. It is for free. You go anywhere to UK or Germany or Slovenia, you have to pay parking. No, you have to pay entrances to the parks. You have to pay toilets. You have to pay the content. In our case, everything is for free. Why? Even my board of directors of my foundation called Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramids. I am founder and director. My board of directors, they told me, you have to charge at least €1. I said, okay, give me a few years. By not charging anything, anyone, people come. We give them back that feeling of freedom. They enjoy the nature, they enjoy the content, and we educate them about the power of pyramids, megalithic circles, healing plants, labyrinths of energy, labyrinths of love, labyrinths of purification. So they realize there is a whole new world beside our, which is purely technological. We are becoming machine by spending so much time with our phones and laptops and TVs. Our DNA is changing, not for the better. We need to reverse that. Yes, we can use technology, but we need to be in charge of our lives. So even though we are a very small foundation, we want to have profound effect on the world. The same like Patrigi's actions, the same like our friends from Russia, from Italy, Damanhur, from Auroville, from all other places, giving examples to the world that physical reality cannot go without the spiritual reality. We have to have those two realities in balance. And only with two of them together, we can live the full life. The world of archaeology and science is usually closed to the elites only. The major places of discoveries, Egyptian pyramids, Chinese pyramids, Mexican pyramids, Stonehenge in England, Karnak in France, people cannot go there, independent researchers, to do the measurements, not even to mention digging. They are completely controlled. If they find something that does not fit their view of the past, they don't publish it. They keep it as strictly confidential. For example, for the longest time, it's been said that under the Egyptian pyramids, there is a hall of records, or library of Atlantis, mysterious land of Atlantis. And the way to get there is under the left pawn of the Sphinx. 1999, Dr. Zahi Hawass, who was then in charge of Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquity, he started secretly digging under the left pawn. Those years, if you are going to Egypt, you could see the wooden pallet close to the Sphinx. Why? It was covering the hole below the Sphinx. They were digging for 3 years. They got to the tunnel. They got to the huge round boulder. They did not know how to move it. The only way to do it was to find the proper frequency of the sound of our planet. Instead, they used dynamite, entered it, and they did find those riches of the lost world of Atlantis. They never published it. When I was there, I spoke to the Giza director. I asked him, what did they find? He answered me, it is strictly confidential. Why is it confidential? Egyptian pyramids do not belong to Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities. Today it's a ministry in the government. They don't belong to the secret services of British government. They don't belong to the elites only. The knowledge from the past belongs to all of us. And that's the reason why we said in Bosnia, especially me as the principal investigator, I said there will be no secrets in Bosnia. We are going to open this project for everyone in the world. In the last 10 years only, we have had more than 3,550 volunteers from 63 countries and 6 continents, from 8-year-old to 84-year-old. People coming from all backgrounds, people who are engineers and geologists and archaeologists and medical doctors, to housewives, to students, everybody comes. What's happening? All right, they're coming. We are the only one who give them the chance, the opportunity to be a part of huge discovery. And indeed, they find artifacts, they find organic materials, they found the oldest and the best quality ancient concrete. They found prehistorical tunnels with us. Tomorrow, they will be talking to their kids and grandkids, how they were there when we needed them, and how they were part of the history in making. So these are some of our experiences that can show the lead to the scientific world, to the spiritual world, how to work. One of our archaeological manager, Mr. Moon from New Zealand, when he first came, he started archaeological work, he documented everything, digging, everything Peru. 3 years later, after being exposed to hundreds of volunteers, many spiritual people, he approached me and he said, Dr. Sam, did you know that stones are alive? I said, Tim, look at you. 3 years ago, you were just one of the ordinary archaeologists. Look at you now. You are telling me that stones are alive. Of course they are alive, because they vibrate. The water is alive. Of course it is alive. The water that we drink is treated with the chlorine. Chlorine is a poison. There are fluorides in our water. There are traces of heavy metals. Our water that we drink at home, kitchen water, city water, bottled water, is energetically dead. But water that's not treated, coming from under the ground, coming from the mountains, the water in Bosnian Pyramid tunnels that's been exposed to nothing but excellent pyramid energies, it vibrates high. Everything in our life is about the vibration. When we hate, we vibrate low. When we are jealous, when we are envy, when we are violent, we vibrate low. But when we have a love for the whole world, we vibrate high. The purpose of our life is not to get the material stuff and more, and bigger houses, and bigger car, and more money on our savings account, and more. Purpose is to live fulfilled, happy, joyful life. And we can hear during this conference and during these experiences with Patrigi from Singapore to Egypt and Bosnia, meditation brings so much joy. Purpose is about the love and the high vibrations. Thank you very much.
Wow, 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 Swamiji. Nice to see you and hear you again and again and again and again.
Thank you, thank you. They told me a few questions just before 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir. First, let us apologize for the temporary voiceover. Thank you, sir, for such a passionate session about pyramids. Thank you for explaining to us the geometry, history, and the energy inside the pyramids. I was awestruck to hear that the pyramids are healing the ozone layer and how the healing towers are helping people to restore their health. My gratitude to you, sir, for opening up all the information about your Bosnian pyramid research to the public. I thoroughly enjoyed it, sir. I'm sure our audience would have enjoyed it too. Now, sir, I have one question from the audience. The question is, sir, it is from Anup Luthar, and he asks, how can we build a pyramid at home for meditation? Can you give us some guidelines, which are welcome?
Thank you. I think what Patrigi did was the right thing to do. Basically, copying the best known and most magnificent pyramid in the world, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, is the right way to do it. It is four-sided, perfect orientation, you have those 52 degrees. But I noticed the more elements you apply, the pyramid becomes more powerful. Like in our case, I did mention our green crystal pyramid, four-sided, 369, quartz crystal, also very important element. So more elements you have, you're going to have a better success. But then, it is not the pyramid that will empower you. It is you. It is your soul. But also the physical body. Well, some people are saying it's just a carrier, it's just a vehicle. Yes, it is for one use only, but still we need to respect our physical body also. So the soul will recognize the connection, will find the link. So the pyramids are there just to help us. It's about us, our techniques, our devotion. We cannot give up after first or second trial. I've heard people in Bosnia coming saying, okay, you have those meditation chambers in Bosnian pyramid tunnels, but I always hear voices. Of course, nothing is easy. Imagine that everything is so easy. We are always put on test. Life is testing us. Higher beings are testing us. It is up to us. And more focused you are, more determined you are, better results you are going to have.
Thank you, sir, for answering the question patiently. I would like to invite Patri sir to share a few words on Dr. Sam. Patri sir?
Dr. Sam is a huge friend of PSSM. I first met him in Singapore, and I'm very happy he recounted that incident. And later then we found him in our Bangalore pyramid. He gave much new information about our own Bangalore pyramid. Then I had gone to Bosnia. I had entered the tunnels. My goodness, what beautiful tunnels they are. Such healing is there, the tunnels. I always want to go into the tunnels. I myself healed my body a lot in those tunnels in Bosnia. My body was having some trouble at that time, but when I went to the tunnels, I felt a lot of healing. They are very great healers, the Bosnian tunnels. Everybody in the whole world should visit and spend time in the Bosnian tunnels. And Dr. Sam is such a freedom fighter. We heard a lot of that from him about freedom. We are all here to be free ourselves. And we are not here to be full of material things. We are here to be full of spiritual things. Spirituality is our purpose. And pyramids are spiritual machines, spiritual artifacts. I am very happy I encountered pyramids in my life. Way back in the year 1980, when I read the book by Dr. Paul Brunton, who went inside the Great Pyramid and spent one whole night there. And he has recounted his experience in the book, A Search in Secret Egypt. Then in the year 1983, I read a book on pyramid power by Bill Shull and Ed Pettit. Then we started our own pyramids. And after so many years, I met a master like Dr. Sam in Singapore. I was overwhelmed. And he has been such a great friend of us. And in this event also, I'm very happy to see him. We all owe, the whole humanity owes this great spiritual master. He must have been a very great spiritual master in all his past lives. Definitely so. So that he continues that spiritual tradition. by researching pyramid energy and helping the whole world. Thank you very much, Swamiji. You are a great Swamiji for us.
Thank you very much. And Patriji, when I first heard you talking in Singapore, word after word, sentence after sentence, paragraph after paragraph, so easy, so logical, so understandable, it really touched my heart. So before that, I was rarely eating meat, but after that, I stopped completely. So the goats and cows and chickens, they don't have fear from me anymore for the last 5 years. Thank you very much. I wish you full success. And of course, we are expecting you. You know how many people are waiting for you here. So if not this year, next year, again, you will be such a welcome guest with all the friends and supporters. Bosnia will have open heart for you guys.
Yes, Swamiji, next year I will definitely visit you, visit Bosnia, and
Thank
be
you very
benefited by Bosnian Pyramid channels.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sam, and thank you, Patriji. We'll definitely visit the Bosnian Pyramids, sir. And yeah, Patri, sir, we have the pics from pyramid pics from Pondicherry.
Please show us. I want Dr. Sam to see also.
Patri, sir, can you please comment on these pics, sir?
These are the 7 pyramids built for the 7 chakras in Pondicherry, in the village Villanur, where Acharya group of institutions is there, founded by our master Aravindan, who spoke before Dr. Sam. These are all the classrooms, some music rooms.
Dancing rooms, I was there.
Yeah. This is Dr. Aravindan's sessions. He is teaching meditation to all the school students.
Wow.
He has transformed the whole of Pondicherry. He is totally dedicated to meditation and vegetarianism and pyramid energy and spiritual science. Thank you, Baba, for showing me those things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Aravindan, for sharing those pics.